Hey everyone, it's Tim from Herberger Online, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit quickly about logging into Zoom. A couple times this week I've helped different faculty members that had trouble either getting into the right Zoom classroom, or once they did get in, they didn't have the right privileges and permissions that they thought they should. And what was happening was that they weren't logging in as themselves. And so we're going to talk today about a couple different ways that you can be sure that you're logged into Zoom with your correct teacher account. So what I'm guessing is happening is that some people are launching the Zoom app, which is what I have right here in front of me. And we launch the Zoom app by going down to your dock or launching the app from the Windows menu to launch, or however it is that you're launching the app. And instead of signing in, I think what some people are doing is clicking join a meeting. It has my name there already, so it makes me feel like I'm logged in. And if I click on the drop down, it has a history of the meetings that I've been in. And so if I click that and click join, it launches the Zoom app. It asks me what I want to do with my video. And it looks like I'm in. It says my name down here in the corner, and everything looks right. But one of the things I do notice here is if I mute my camera, it shows my name, but it doesn't show my profile image, which I've set up in my account. And also if I come down to the participants window, notice that it has my name, but it doesn't say host. Okay, so these are two clues that I haven't actually logged in as the instructor. I'm in as a student. In an effort to make it the easiest transition possible to get the whole university into Zoom without any training, essentially, the way UTO set up those attend remotely links to point to the personal meeting rooms for the instructors, it allows students in that aren't logged in, and it also allows you to come in without being logged in, and then it thinks you're a student as well. So you may accidentally end up in your room, but not as the instructor. So let's look at a couple of different ways to make sure you're getting logged in as yourself. I'm going to leave this meeting first. Okay, so from the Zoom app, I can click sign in. If I try to sign in here with my credentials, it will reject me every time. I need to come over here to this button that says sign in with SSO. That means single sign on. That's your ASU right credentials. And so if I click that, that's not the correct company domain. Our company domain is asu.zoom.us, and I can click continue. And because I was already logged into to my ASU, it brought me into the Zoom, back into the Zoom app. You notice it launched my web browser up and then brought me back into the Zoom app. And now I can look up here and I can see that I am indeed logged in as my name and my ASU right address. Okay, so now when I join a meeting, I can either start a new meeting, and you can choose whether new meetings use your personal meeting ID or whether they start a new meeting ID. So that's something to kind of keep track of. I like to set the checkbox so that anytime I start a new meeting, it starts my personal ID. That way, that's the link, that's the meeting room where most of your students are going to be if they use the attend remotely link. And if you click join a meeting, then you can join a meeting and you can see your history of the different meeting rooms that you normally attend. So that's a much safer way to make sure that you're logging into the right place. Let's look at another way to do that. I'm going to go ahead and sign out of the Zoom app. So I'm back where I started, and I'm actually going to quit it. Take me all the way out. And I'll do even one more thing here. I'm going to get an incognito window for those of you that don't know what that means. That's basically a secure window that hasn't seen all my other logins from the day. So this is going to start me over completely fresh. So I'm going to go to asu.zoom.us, and this is the best place to log in online to get to your Zoom account. I'm going to click the login button here. It's going to take me through all the normal ASU login steps to log in with my ASU right address. It's probably going to want to call me. So we'll authenticate that. Thank you. Accept a couple policies here. You don't have to do this every time, but just the first time, or maybe every once in a while. And so it brings me into my zoom.us settings and meeting interface on the web. If I come over here on the left side, I can click profile, and again I can see my name. I can see that I'm logged in with my ASU right at asu.edu address. I can see the profile image that I've set up, and this is a good place to set up that profile image if you haven't already, because that was one of those ways that we were able to really tell that we were logged in correctly if the correct profile image is there. If you have a Zoom account with a personal email address outside of the ASU infrastructure, I would recommend setting up a different profile image so that when you look at that, it's really clear to you what Zoom account you're logged in with, because that's another problem that we've seen both with some students and with some faculty, is that they were somehow logged into their other personal Zoom account rather than their ASU account, and it wasn't letting students into class, or it wasn't letting instructors have the right privileges. So again, maybe set up a different profile image so that you can really quickly see which account you're in. Here's something to keep in mind as well. Like I mentioned, that Attend Remotely link that's on My ASU that most of the students are using will always take them to your personal meeting ID or your personal meeting room. And that's this number here. It will always be that number. That's your personal number. That's always going to be your meeting room. And so it's a good idea to kind of maybe bookmark that, copy it somewhere, save that, and be familiar, at least be able to recognize what your number is. Mine ends with the 6298. I'm going to go ahead and screenshot that really quick so we can refer back to that later. And that's a good way to kind of keep track of what meeting room you're in. Again, if I click host a meeting, then that's going to launch the Zoom app. So we always end up coming back to the app. So maybe that's the place you want to log in the first time, but sometimes logging into the web is just easier to make sure you're in the right account. I can see that I'm in the 6298 meeting. If I mute my video, let's see, let me join the audio. There's my video there. If I mute my video, I don't know why it keeps coming back to that, but I can see that my image was there for a second. And if I look at the participants pane, now it says my name, but it also says that I'm the host, and that's what I want so that I can share my screen and I can control my students to mute them or unmute them or whatever I need to do. Keep in mind, let me go back to that Zoom page. If I ever click this schedule a meeting, that's going to create a new meeting with a different ID. That's not taking you to your standard meeting room. That's creating a separate one that's got a unique ID. So it's important to kind of keep that in mind as you're clicking on different things. We can host a meeting, we can join a meeting, or we can schedule a meeting, but our students are coming into this personal address. So keep in mind that as you're setting up your Zoom meetings, just double check when you hit a Zoom meeting that you are actually logged in with your correct account and that you're in the room that you think you're in. Hope that helps.